Hey everyone, it's MK, and today I'm very excited to be bringing you a comparison video of spinners in the $50 range. I got the idea to do this video because as I was getting into spinners, that was kind of my price range, was $40 to $60. But I was having a hard time choosing because there are so many to choose from, and I wasn't quite sure what kind of metals I liked and everything. So I thought I would make this video in hopes that it might help someone out when they're trying to decide. So I've got 5 spinners here. I have the Spinetic Y, the Nobel Spin Virtue, the Infinity i7, the Flyaway Toys Mini Falcon, and the Ultra Spinners Ergo Omega. So what I would like to do today is kind of go over each one individually, just briefly, the pros and cons. Most of these I already have like an individual review video posted for, so check that out if you'd like more information and more of my impressions. So this I'm going to try to keep the individual reviews pretty brief. So we'll do that, and then we will end the video with the spin time. And usually I think it's kind of boring to just do it when you've got just one spinner, but it's kind of fun when you have several because it kind of turns into a race, and you want to see who wins, obviously. So let's get going. First off, the Spinetic Y. This is my newest spinner, and I have to say that I really love this spinner. This is media blasted stainless steel, and the media blasted was like a limited edition kind of thing, so I don't think you can get that anymore, but you can definitely still get it in stainless steel, brass, copper, and there's a black one, and I want to say it's brass with like a black finish on it, but don't quote me on that. This one was around closer to $50 because of the media blasted limited edition thing, but normally they're more in the $30 to $40 range depending on which material you choose, which metal. So that's even less than $50 usually. So it's definitely a steal. This is a great spinner. It spins really smooth. It's really quiet, really well balanced. The only negative to it is slightly sharp edges just on these corners up here. All inside here is very smooth where you're going to be placing your finger for flicking. But it's when you stop it, if you catch it on the tip when you're stopping it, that pokes you a little bit. But it's really not that uncomfortable. For the money and the spin quality, I think everyone should have at least one Spinetic spinner. This is my first one, but I know it won't be my last. This is a great little spinner that I highly recommend. Next, moving on to the Virtue by Nobel Spin. And as you can tell, this guy is made of stainless steel. And the downside to regular stainless steel is you can probably see all these fingerprints on here, but you can always just polish those off after you've used it. I forgot to mention that this guy is an R188 steel bearing. This guy is actually a 608, I believe. I'm not going to open it up. I've done that in the other video, but a 608, so a larger bearing than is kind of the standard now in the spinner world. But I'll tell you what, I love that sound it makes. It's definitely a bit louder, maybe not suitable for like a classroom setting or like a quiet workplace. But I can see taking this with me to Starbucks to study and it not being an issue. But it's a bit louder because of the bearing. But it's still a pretty smooth spin, and the usual judder that you get from the bar spinner is honestly not that pronounced in this spinner. It doesn't seem to slow it down at all. The biggest thing that I like about this one is its size. And, well, that's not the biggest thing. The size and how rounded and smooth it is. You literally will not find a sharp edge anywhere on this. And for holding it in your hand, for putting it in your pocket, I think that's pretty huge. So props to Nobel Spin on that for making this a super comfortable spinner. The buttons are big. I think they're the second biggest out of all the spinners that I have here today, and I like that a lot. They're really comfortable, lots of space. But yeah, this guy comes in stainless steel, brass, copper, and then you can also swap out the caps for different colors. There's also like a black stonewash one, I believe, also. And it's worth mentioning that there is a larger model called the Vantage, which looks very similar to this, except it's just a little bit longer. I opted for the Virtue, and I've found that it's the perfect size for me, but if you have larger hands or you don't mind a little bit of a bigger spinner, then check out the Vantage as well. Alrighty, next we've got the Infinity i7, and this one actually comes from Amazon. I'm not sure, it may or may not be a clone. I know there are a lot of these out there that are similar to the Sea Green C3 spinner that's on Spinetic Spinners. So this is the Infinity. I'm sure if you were to get the one on Spinetic Spinners, it would be very similar. But this is, I think it's brass with like a black anodized. I'm not sure if anodized is the right word, but it's a black coating. And then these weights on the arms are stainless steel. It's kind of like a brushed stainless steel, so it doesn't really leave fingerprints as much as regular stainless steel would. This one has an R, let me just open this because I actually haven't done an individual review on this one. And I probably will at some point, but just in case I don't, let's just see the inside of it. That looks like, that's definitely R188. It looks like it might be hybrid, but honestly I'm not sure. But this one is definitely the smallest. The only one that you might consider a little bit smaller would be this one as far as diameter goes. But this has a lot less mass to it and a lot, it's easy to grip. This one's super easy to grip also, but as far as a tri-spinner, I sometimes find them to be a little bit more awkward to hold, but this one's small enough that it's really not an issue at all. Can go in your pocket pretty easily. It has a nice spin to it. It feels a little bit grindy at times. So I wouldn't say it's maybe as high of quality as some of these other ones, but it's very smooth. It has some slight points, definitely not as pronounced as the Spinetic. These are a little bit sharper on the Spinetic. Some slight points, not a huge deal. I don't really notice it when I'm flicking it at all. Yeah, this is a really great flickable one. Small, discreet, fairly quiet. Like I said, a slight grinding sound, but honestly not bad at all. This was my first like $50 spinner. And oh, one thing I forgot to mention, this guy, got him for $50 on sale. He's normally $80, which is a lot. I mean, this is a great spinner, but $80 still seems like a lot. But $50 is perfect for this guy, so definitely jump on that if you're interested. I'm not sure how long the sale will be going on for, but this one was around, I think it was around $45. But it just doesn't have that high quality feel that some of these other ones have. Though, don't let that stop you if this interests you though, because it is a great little spinner. And one that I've carried around a lot with me. So this is the Infinity i7. Alright, next up we are going to the Flyaway Toys spinner. This is the Mini Falcon in brass. And one thing you'll notice right away about brass is the patina. It looks kind of like it's a little bit dirty. It's not dirty. I've only had it for a couple days. But it has something to do with the metal when it oxidizes. And I've heard that you can polish this away, but I haven't tried that yet. But this also comes in stainless steel. I want to say it should come in copper. I don't remember offhand. I think it does come in copper. It comes in lots of different anodized colors. There is a titanium one, I believe, that's a little more expensive. This guy was $60, so a little bit more. than the $50 price range, but worth it in my opinion. This is a solid little spinner. I mean, it's just, you can just holding it, you can tell it's just really sturdy and really well made. I like how it's kind of shinier on these edges, and then the top is kind of more of like a brushed feel to it. I really like these caps that Flyaway Toys has. I like the little swirl logo on there. As far as spinning, this guy's really quiet. The only time you really hear a noticeable sound is when you're moving it. And this has definitely more of a judder than the Nobel Spin does, but it is a lot heavier also. Brass is going to be a lot heavier, and so I'm pretty sure that's the reason for it. But so if you do like this, it's going to slow down considerably, but you just have to know that when you have a bar spinner like this, you can't jerk it around as much to get a nice spin. You have to kind of, I found that if you move it slowly, you barely feel it at all, and it doesn't slow it down at all. Like 1 or 2 quick motions won't make a big deal, but switching axes more slowly are preferred. Overall, I really like this spinner. It has a smooth spin to it, super quiet. Even spinning it slowly is fun because it just like, I don't know, it just wants to spin. It just goes and goes. The caps are really comfortable. You might think that this looks like a sharp edge here, but this part, it's really not. It's smooth. This really doesn't have sharp edges at all on it. I mean, they're nicely chamfered, and so you're not going to really find a sharp spot anywhere on here. It's pretty good for flickability. It has these little grooves here and here on each side that your finger can easily find. Any way you want to play with it is super easy. So yeah, this is the Flyaway Toys Mini Falcon. Great spinner. And for the last one, we have the Ergo Omega. Now this guy is also brass with, I believe, aluminum caps. And you can definitely see the patina on this one. I think more so even than the Mini Falcon. And I got these on the same day, opened them pretty much at the same time. So I'm not quite sure. Like I said, I don't know a lot about brass and the upkeep of it, but supposedly all of this will polish off. I kind of like the look though. I mean, it makes it look kind of aged. But this is this is a really great tri-spinner. I'm having a hard time deciding if I prefer tri or bar, but I think maybe I'll just say I like both and not try to narrow my options down. But this one out of all of these has like the smoothest spin. It's a little bit louder, but man, it spins so fast, and it just, with it being a tri-spinner, there's no wobble. It's just a really, really nice feeling spinner. The caps have these concentric circles around them, and you can kind of see that this inner part is concave. So that's going to be basically where you put your fingers. So I feel like these buttons are deceptively larger than they really feel. This outer ring, I don't find myself really putting my thumb on it all that much. I usually kind of just stick to the center part, but I mean, you can. So it's a pretty large button. These are the largest buttons out of all of these. And I've seen people take these buttons and put them on other spinners and customize them and stuff. So they're nice buttons. I like them a lot. The shape, supposedly it's named the Ergo. It's supposed to be a very ergonomic shape, and I think it is. I mean, it spins super fast. And it has really great flickability. Has some nice chamfers, some slight little points on the edges, but I don't really ever find my fingers hitting those spots, and if they do, it's not painful at all. You can kind of see that the arms kind of curve to one side or the other, depending on which way you hold it, so it kind of has a handedness to it. I find that I like to flick it actually on the smaller side. So if I'm using my right hand, I'm gonna hold it like this. But if I'm using my left hand, I'll switch it around, hold it like that. I'm not sure why I prefer the smaller side, but it's just the right size for my finger, I guess. So yeah, I love this spinner a lot. It's a little bit bigger and bulkier as far as a pocket carry, but not to say that I won't carry it in my pocket, but it's not quite as pocketable as this one, for instance. Just the tri-spinners I find are just a little bit more awkward to carry in general. But yeah, so that's my quick rundown of each one. If I had to pick a favorite out of these, this is a really hard one. Honestly, I can't even. I mean, the one that I pick up and play with the most is actually this guy, the Virtue. There's something about it. I love the feeling of it. I love the sound. I love the way it looks when it spins. I love the roundedness of it. That's probably honestly the biggest reason why I picked this one up so much. It's just so smooth, so comfortable, so easy to flick. So yeah, this one's probably my favorite, but like I said, I really love all of these for different reasons. These two smoothest spinners by far. This one's a pretty smooth spinner as well, but this one I like just for the weight of it if you want something a little bit heavier, and this one's super quiet too. This guy I love for the size and pocketability of him. Small, tri-spinner but small. A nice feel to it. So yeah, I'm going to have links to everything down in the description so that you can buy any of these if you would like to. But now we are going to move on to the fun part, the spin test. Okay, really quickly before I do the spin test, I just want to show you one thing that I forgot, and it's the balance of all of these. So they're all fairly well balanced, easy to balance on one finger, even spinning at high speeds. There's the Spinetic. This one is pretty easy to balance. I thought it would be a little more wobbly, but it's fairly easy to balance. Moving on to the Infinity. This one's a bit wobbly. Not too bad though. Apologize for the dogs barking. Now this one, out of the bar spinners, has the most wobble. This one's a little bit harder to get balanced, but once you have it balanced, it balances pretty easily. And then this one's really easy to balance. It's almost just effortless. It just kind of sits there. So yeah, just wanted to show you that for all of them. But now we'll go into the spin test. I'm going to go ahead and use the clock that's on the camera as it's recording to time them. And I'm going to get all of them spinning, and then I'll pick the camera up so that it's easier for you to see. If you're someone who's not interested in spin times, then feel free to cut the video off here. Alrighty. Any guesses as to which one can spin the longest? Looks like the Nobel spin is going to come to a stop first, probably, which is what you would expect, being a larger bearing. We've hit the 2-minute mark. And the Nobel spin comes in at about 2 minutes and 12 seconds. The infinity's slowing down over here. Alright, the infinity comes in at about, so you gotta do some math here, 2 minutes and 40 seconds about. We've just hit the 3-minute mark. The spinetic is slowing down, but I have to say it's really holding its own with these heavier brass spinners. And it looks like we got just over 4 minutes with the ergo. I think for that one I may have been pressing a little bit too hard when I spun it, and I think it kind of caught the table a little bit at first. So, because before when I've tested it, it got a spin time a lot closer to the Mini Falcon. So that was my error there, I think. And this is by far the best spin I've gotten on the Spinetic. We're at almost 5 minutes on that one. Five-minute mark right here. Wow, the Spinetic surprised me and got the longest spin. The Tri-Falcon got about 5 minutes and 20 seconds, and this guy got about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So, was that what you were expecting? It started off very predictable with this 608 bearing ending first. Sorry, the lighting's getting weird now. Okay. And then this guy coming in second. Like I said, that one kind of just has a feeling of being not quite as well made as some of the others. Now these two are pretty much equal. The two big brass ones are pretty much equal in weight. And like I said, this one I'm pretty sure I didn't get a great spin on it. I think it kind of pressed it into the table a little bit as I was spinning it, and definitely caused some drag. So otherwise, I think it would have been pretty much in line with the Flyaway toys, although I think when I timed them before, the Flyaway toys got the best spin time. But this little spinetic really surprised me. The first spin out of the box was about 4 minutes. But he got over 5 minutes this time, and I guess it's due to me spinning it constantly and breaking it in, so I'm really impressed with that. But traditionally this would be the longest spinner. But I gotta say, if you're looking for one with high fidgetability and spin time, go with the spinetic. Because it is very fidgetable in spite of the slightly sharp edges. This guy, good for spin time. Also fidgetable, but a little heavier, so keep that in mind if you have small hands, but definitely easily fidgetable. All of these I am happy to own, and I would definitely recommend all of these to anyone for different reasons. So yeah, check out the links below if you'd like to check any of these out, and look for more reviews in the future. Thanks so much for watching.